We declare that manufacturer procedures matter. We declare that safety matters. We declare that consumers deserve the truth. We declare that insurance companies occupy a position of trust, and that trust must be honored. "250 years ago, a group of people put their names on a document that said, in plain language, enough is enough. They declared that rights matter, accountability matters, and people should not be forced to accept decisions made by powerful institutions when those decisions no longer serve the people they claim to protect." Now, before anyone gets nervous, this is still the airing of grievances, and we're still talking about collision repair. We're not here to deliver a political speech. We're here to present evidence. And today, on the 250th anniversary of American independence, we're issuing something of our own, a declaration of repair independence. If you've been in an accident, if your vehicle's been damaged, if your family rides in that vehicle, if you paid your premiums and trusted the process, you deserve to know what's actually happening behind the curtain. You deserve to know that collision repair should be driven by engineering, manufacturer repair procedures, and safety, not by cost containment. And you deserve to know that when an insurance company occupies a position of trust, that trust comes with responsibility. We declare that the customer has the right to understand who's actually making repair decisions, what those decisions are based on, and whether they follow the manufacturer's required procedures for the vehicle. That shouldn't be controversial. If a vehicle manufacturer says a part must be replaced, a procedure must be followed, a weld must be performed in a certain way, a scan must be completed, or a calibration must be verified, that information matters. Modern vehicles are engineered systems, not just metal panels, plastic bumpers, headlights, sensors, cameras, wiring, airbags, and seatbelts, and computers bolted together in a random fashion. Everything has a purpose. Everything interacts with something else and was designed, tested, and validated by engineers long before that vehicle ended up in your driveway. So when an insurer says a procedure is unnecessary, too expensive, excessive, or not included, the obvious question is, based on what? The manufacturer's procedure, engineering, safety, or the number they'd prefer to pay? That's the issue, and that's why this matters. Insurance companies occupy a position of trust. People call them immediately after an accident, shaken, confused, vulnerable, wanting direction, reassurance, and to know where to take the vehicle and whether everything's going to be okay. Too often, that trust gets used to steer repair decisions toward lower costs instead of manufacturer procedures. That's a serious problem, and we're saying it forcefully because consumers are the ones who pay the price when cost containment becomes more important than proper repair. We declare that the cheapest repair isn't automatically the proper repair, and a lower estimate should never be treated as proof that a shop's more honest, efficient, or reasonable. Sometimes it's lower because something's missing, because the repair plan was never fully researched, or because the shop left out that the insurer demanded the manufacturer-required procedures be ignored. Sometimes it's because the shop's willing to accept the insurance company's limitations and let the customer deal with the consequences later. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's because the customer doesn't yet know enough to ask the right questions. That's why we talk about this every week. When your vehicle's repaired after a collision, the plan, the documentation, the procedures, the parts, the scans, the calibrations, and the order of operations all matter. This isn't drama. This is collision repair. Here's what makes this even more painful. Consumers frequently end up paying thousands of dollars out of pocket because insurers refuse to fully support manufacturer-required repairs. That's not a theory. We see it, we deal with it, and we watch guests try to understand why the insurance company that they've paid for years is treating manufacturer requirements like optional upgrades. Let's be clear. When the manufacturer says something's required, it shouldn't become a negotiation between a repair facility and a claims department trying to protect the insurance profits. A required repair procedure isn't a luxury item or a leather seat upgrade or heated cup holders. It's part of restoring the vehicle to the standards set by the people who built it. We declare that a consumer shouldn't be punished financially for insisting that their vehicle be repaired according to manufacturer procedures. That should be the floor, the starting point, the expectation. Instead, many consumers get in the middle of a fight they never asked to join. The repair facility says, this is what the manufacturer says is required. The insurer says, we don't agree to pay for that. And the guest, who simply wanted the vehicle fixed properly, ends up holding the invoice. That's unacceptable. Now let me bring this down from theory to reality. A woman trusted her insurance company's preferred network body shop. She did what many people do, trusted the recommendation, and assumed that if the insurance company had a preferred repair facility, it would perform the repair correctly. That's a reasonable assumption for a consumer to make. After the repair, she brought the vehicle to Nylund for a post-repair inspection. What did we find? The repair facility had caused more damage than the original collision. Let that sink in for a minute. This vehicle was damaged in a collision, sent to the preferred network shop for repair, and arrived here for inspection, with the repair itself having created damage beyond what the accident caused. That's not a minor inconvenience or a difference of opinion over cosmetic perfection. It's a repair process that failed the consumer so badly that the attempted repair became part of the damage. Then came weeks of delays, excuses, and denials, weeks of pushing and documenting and challenging so the issue wouldn't get buried under polite claims language. Finally, accountability. Now that shop faces a simple reality. Repair the vehicle correctly or buy it outright. And here's the human part that gets lost in the forms, estimates, and claim numbers. She's terrified to drive the vehicle, and just as terrified to return it to the same shop that damaged it. That's where the system put her. A consumer who trusted the recommended path, now afraid of her own vehicle and afraid of the people who repaired it. If that doesn't bother you, it should. We declare that no customer should have to wonder whether the repair did more harm than the accident. That's why post-repair inspections matter, why documentation matters, and why looks fine from the outside isn't good enough. Modern vehicles can hide serious problems behind panels, trim, underbody covers, and electronic systems. A shiny bumper cover can hide missing procedures. A clean paint job can hide structural concerns. A completed claim can hide unfinished work. The vehicle may look repaired, but that doesn't mean it was repaired correctly, and that difference can matter a great deal. Let me show you a photograph. This came from a vehicle that arrived here after another shop replaced the windshield. Take a close look at the opening where the windshield sits. The technician cut directly into the structural frame surrounding the glass. That damage wasn't part of the original repair. It was created by the repair. The correct repair required replacing that damaged structural section, which meant obtaining a replacement VIN label through a process that the manufacturer requires for situations like this. That process takes time, and time affects production schedules, delivery dates, and everyone involved. The customer and the vehicle both deserved the correct repair. Instead, someone at that shop reached for JB Weld, glue. The damaged metal stayed in the vehicle. The glue tried to hide it, and the windshield went back into the opening. The owner drove away, believing everything had been restored. Life moved forward, months passed, Colorado roads did what Colorado roads do, and a rock struck the windshield. The owner scheduled a replacement, this time from a company that specializes in windshield work. The technician inspected the opening, and everything stopped. He looked at the structural damage, the glue repair, then the owner, and said words that no vehicle owner ever hopes to hear. We can't install a windshield into this. That moment became the owner's first introduction to damage from a repair that was long finished. The collision had ended, the repair had ended, the paperwork had ended, and he believed the story was over. The next windshield told a different story entirely. One shortcut created months of uncertainty and another major repair, and one consumer learned that completed and correctly repaired are two very different outcomes. Every person watching this deserves better. Every family driving down the interstate deserves better, and so does every repair facility capable of doing excellent work, because shortcuts like this cast a shadow against the entire industry. That's why we keep saying this. Choose your repair facility carefully. Ask questions and demand documentation. Understand the difference between a shop that follows manufacturer procedures and one that simply agrees to an insurance company's number, because those are not always the same thing. We declare that a preferred shop isn't automatically the preferred choice for the consumer. The word preferred sounds reassuring, like someone already did the homework for you, like there's a higher standard or a safer path. Sometimes it just means the shop and the insurer have a business relationship with pricing agreements and cost pressures that the consumer never sees. That doesn't automatically mean that the shop is bad. It does mean the customer should always ask who the shop is actually preferred by: the insurer, the manufacturer, the customer, because of certifications and training to follow OEM procedures, or simply because the claim moves faster and costs less. That question matters because once the vehicle's repaired, your family is the one riding in it. Your child is in the back seat. Your spouse is driving home in bad weather, and everyone's depending on airbags, sensors, and structural components to do their job if the next bad day comes. The repair process can't be a race to the lowest acceptable invoice. We declare that safety systems deserve more respect than a spreadsheet. Today's vehicles aren't simple. The bumper may contain sensors. The windshield may tie into advanced driver assistance systems. The suspension may interact with steering angle sensors, and a structural repair may affect crash energy management. A camera may need calibration. A scan may reveal fault codes that no walk-around would ever catch. This is why proper repair planning takes time, why research matters, and why the insurance company won't pay for that should never be the final word on whether something's necessary. If the manufacturer requires it, the procedure calls for it, if safety depends on it, the conversation changes. Consumers deserve the truth in plain language. What the manufacturer says, what the insurer will pay for, what remains disputed, and what happens if required work gets skipped. That's real informed consent. Anything less leaves the consumer in the dark. We declare that the customer has the right to choose the repair facility that advocates for the vehicle, the repair, and the safety of the people who ride in it. At Nylund's Collision Center, our position is simple. The vehicle should be repaired according to the manufacturer's procedures, only using OEM parts. The plan should be documented, the customer should understand the process, and the insurer should be held accountable for the obligations of the policy. And when there's a dispute, the answer should never be to pressure the customer into accepting less than a proper repair. We're not pretending that this is easy. Proper repairs can be expensive and slow. Parts availability can be frustrating. Insurer responses can drag, and supplements can be contested. Manufacturer procedures can be detailed and inconvenient for anyone trying to push a claim through quickly. But inconvenience isn't a safety standard. Cost containment isn't a repair procedure. And a claim estimate isn't the same thing as an engineered repair plan. We declare that repair decisions should be governed by the vehicle, not the claim file. The vehicle tells the truth if the people inspecting it know what to look for and are willing to document what they find. Damage doesn't care what the first estimate said, and structural requirements and calibration needs don't care what the insurer expected or whether someone included them on day one. The car doesn't become safe because the claim closed. It becomes safe when the correct repairs are performed, verified, and documented. That distinction is everything. This is where consumers need to understand their power. You can ask for the OEM repair procedures, whether the shop has researched the specific procedures for your year, make, and model, whether scans and calibrations are required, whether the facility is certified for your vehicle brand, what parts are being used, and what the insurer is refusing to pay for. You can also ask what happens if required procedures get skipped, and for documentation before, during, and after the repair. Those are reasonable questions, and if someone treats them like a problem, pay attention. A good repair facility should be willing to explain the process and show the basis for the repair plan, not just ask you to trust vague assurances when actual procedures, measurements, photos, scans, and documentation exist. We declare that trust is earned through evidence. That's the jury room standard that we want customers to understand. Bring the evidence. Show the procedure, the scan, the measurement, the calibration requirement, what was damaged, repaired, replaced, and refused, and what remains in dispute. That's how consumers make informed decisions, how repair facilities protect themselves, and how insurers get held to the standard that their customers deserve. Insurance is built on trust. The customer pays premiums expecting that if something happens, the insurer will help restore what was lost under the terms of their policy, and that trust should mean something when the vehicle needs a safe and proper repair. Too often, the pressure moves the other way. The conversation becomes, "We don't pay for that," and the manufacturer's own repair procedures turn into a battleground, and the consumer ends up covering thousands of dollars out of pocket because the insurer refuses to fully support required repairs. They're made to feel unreasonable for wanting the vehicle repaired the way that the manufacturer says it should be. That's backwards. We declare that the person who paid for the coverage shouldn't be treated like an obstacle in the claims process. The customer isn't the problem. Neither is the vehicle or the manufacturer's repair procedures. The problem is any process that places cost containment above safety, documentation, and proper repair. And yes, that may sound strong. It should. A woman terrified to drive her vehicle after trusting the preferred network process, a repair that causes more damage than the original collision, weeks of delay and denial just to confront the obvious, and consumers reaching into their own pockets for thousands of dollars because an insurer won't fully support required repairs. All of that is strong. And you know what? So is a windshield repair causing additional structural damage, and consumers left trying to figure out who's telling the truth while everyone else on the call knows the industry's language better than they do. So yes, our position is strong. Consumers deserve repairs driven by engineering, manufacturer procedures, and safety, not cost containment. That's the center of this entire declaration of repair independence. We declare that your vehicle is more than a claims number. It's what takes you to work, carries your kids to school, and gets your family to church, the grocery store, and then back home again. You have every right to expect that after a collision, the repair process will respect what the vehicle means in your life, and every right to reject the idea that the safest repair somehow is too much to ask. At Nylund's Collision Center, we believe the repair should begin with the vehicle manufacturer's procedures. The guest should be informed, the documentation should be clear, and the insurer should honor the trust placed in them. We believe that cost containment should never be allowed to outrank safety. So today, on the 250th anniversary of American independence, we're borrowing the frame because the idea still matters. People shouldn't have to submit quietly to systems they don't understand, or accept decisions made behind closed doors, or surrender their safety to some king of an insurance company who wants the number lower. People should be able to stand on truth, evidence, documentation, and accountability. And in collision repair, that begins with a simple declaration. We declare that proper repair matters. We declare that manufacturer procedures matter. We declare that safety matters. We declare that consumers deserve the truth. We declare that insurance companies occupy a position of trust, and that trust must be honored. We declare that a repair driven by cost containment is not the standard that consumers deserve. We declare that when engineering and expense collide, engineering must win. That's our declaration of repair independence and your consumer bill of rights. And if your vehicle's been in an accident, if you're being pressured, confused, rushed, or told that required repairs are somehow optional, call Nylund's Collision Center in Englewood, Colorado. Bring us the vehicle, the estimate, and the questions. We'll help you understand what the repair actually requires. Because independence begins with knowing the truth. And the truth is this: your family deserves a vehicle repaired according to the standards of the people who built it, documented by the people repairing it, and supported by the company that promised to be there when you needed them. That's worth declaring. That's worth defending. And that's exactly why we're here. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. We'd be grateful for a like and a share. And Lord willing, we'll see you again right here next Saturday for another episode of the Airing of Grievances. Until then, happy birthday, America. You make 250 years look great.